Hey everyone, Andrew Goodwin here for AGD Behind the Design. I'm coming back to you for another segment on ADUs, and this time we're going to talk a little bit about garage conversions. Again, the state law right now is very advantageous to convert your garage, detached or attached garage, to an ADU. This is great news for some people that want to either put an in-law, a family member, or try to get some rent on a property that they own. But there's a lot of confusion about how to do that and get it basically approved through the building departments. So I want to dispel a couple things and talk about some of these key issues that you need to think about. So again, the first thing you need to do is make sure that your zoning law within your city lines up with the state laws. If you convert a garage, depending on where it is on your property, detached or attached, it may qualify as a junior ADU or an ADU. So an ADU in proper has your kitchen and your bath. Your junior ADU may not, based on that zoning. The attached and the detached garage has different types of safety issues and some of the building code issues. So we'll cover that here in a second. And then on top of that, there's this conversation about parking. Now the state law allows you to take away that parking and not have to replace it on your lot. So if you put a home ADU conversion into a garage, you don't have to find another place for those two parking spaces. That's great news, but some jurisdictions are not adopting that characteristic because of parking issues that are within the area anyway. So check that out before you do that. Building code in itself, the building code has a lot of different regulations that you have to think about that the garage itself does not have to abide by when you first build a garage or design a garage. Again, you're thinking energy and egress. Those two main issues are not required in a garage, and therefore the garage is much more utilitarian. So think about that. On top of that, there's a fire resistance issue. So the there's a firewall that usually has to be built between the house and an attached garage. And if it's detached, you don't need that. But if it's close to a property line, you might have some issues with fire resistance and that being a building unit, a home unit. So here's some basic reminders to think about as you get into your garage conversion. First, windows. Most garages do not have adequate windows. As soon as you add a bedroom, you are obligated to include an egress window. Egress window, it has a certain height and a certain size. So make sure you're thinking about, where do I put that egress window? If I'm replacing that insulated garage door with wall and you want to be very cost effective, maybe that's a good place to put a window and your bedroom. So windows, very, very important. The next thing is your concrete floors. Most garages are slab on grade and they are built without a vapor barrier. A vapor barrier is a lining of plastic basically underneath that concrete floor that prevents capillary action or water coming up from underneath in the ground, underneath through the slab and ruining anything that is in the garage or on that floor. When you put a flooring on top of concrete without a vapor barrier, depending on your soil condition, you may ruin that flooring because of that capillary action. So think about that. Some really easy strategies on that to solve that would either be to build a new floor system above that or put an epoxy floor down to hopefully coat that and seal that from any kind of capillary action. If you're looking for a vapor barrier and you don't have any concrete down right now and you want to put a new concrete slab down, look at Stego wrap, maybe a 15 mil or 10 mil lining underneath that. So again, Stego wrap, it's a great product. The third thing you want to think about is drywall. So your drywall may not be in your garage, but you need to insulate in drywall for energy conditions and just for sustainability purposes. Because the next thing that you need to consider is heating. In the state of California specifically, you need to provide heating for habitable space. You can do a very efficient mini split system, but if you do not have any kind of insulation in your space, just like right now I don't have much insulation in my office, the heating will go right out the wall and you'll be running up a bill all year long. So think about that. Heating, HVAC, how do you get those in there and what does that really look like? Power and lighting. Power is usually in a garage but you need to meet the code for a habitable space for how many outlets you need along the wall in your bedrooms. And then the spacing gets a lot tighter when it comes to the kitchen areas. So you need to add power, and most likely you need to add lighting, because lighting conditions in a garage are not that great for the most part. But if you're going to be living there or having somebody live there, you need to add some good lighting. The next thing and the most important thing that we have on our list here is to consider and to think about where that garage is located and how do you get plumbing from that garage. Most garages, mine in particular, I can even think of, doesn't have plumbing routed to it because it's detached, it's in the back of the lot. You will need to run sewer lines and water lines from your main house or your main point of connection to that garage, right? And plumbing is a very expensive trade, and good on plumbers, but it's a very expensive trade. And the longer that run, you're gonna be dealing with some fall issues, right? Do you need a sump pump? Do you need some kind of way to get the sewer line to fall appropriately to allow for all of the liquid to move? Similarly, how do you get the water out to that space? And when you get the water out there, most ADUs are required to have a hot water heater. And so that hot water heater, especially in cities that are becoming all electric, is going to be a heat pump water heater. Again, that ADU conversion of a garage is a great and useful way to give valuable housing to those that need it and to potentially make some income on your property. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page and check out more about our ADUs on our website, www.andrewgoodwin.us. And that's it for me, Andrew Goodwin, for Behind the Designs, ADUs, and Garage Conversions.